What's up, guys? All right, the injuries. Colbert, high ankle sprain. He's going to end up having to go on IR. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, so we ended up doing that. I think it's gone through now. Breida tweaked his ankle again, but his strength is good. He'll be day-to-day. Goodwin tweaked his ankle. We'll recheck him on Wednesday. Tart had a stinger. We'll recheck him on Wednesday. And Ruben had a shoulder sprain. He should be good to go for practice Wednesday.
With DJ Reed there at free safety, what do you think about Jimmy Ward resuming that position when he comes back?
We'll look into all options. We'll see that as practice goes throughout the week. We got to see if Jimmy Ward's ready to practice anyways this week. He's coming off his hamstring. But DJ Reed will have the first chance out.
Is Colbert a return candidate late in the year?
Probably not. Yeah.
What have you seen from Reed when he's been in there?
When he's had his opportunity, DJ plays very hard. He goes in there, he runs and hits. He's done some good things. He's still a rookie, needs to play more, and I know he'll have some learning curves as he does that, but the game's not too big for him, and he's a guy we do believe in.
Any update on Sherman and his calf?
No update. We're going to recheck him Wednesday.
You said his calf could be an ongoing thing. Looks like it is. Is this just something you'll have to kind of manage and have to most of the games?
Yes, yeah. It's it's been wearing on him as the year's gone. Some weeks have been better than others. Last week was a bad week, and we'll see how he feels this Wednesday when he gets back in, ready to go.
Are you guys re-signing Tom Savage to take that roster spot?
Yes, yeah, we already did.
Pierre, he was out for most of the game.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed Pierre's. It's actually not on here, typo. But Pierre went out in the game a number of times because of his knee. We'll have to recheck him on Wednesday also.
What really stuck with you, Kyle, from watching the film?
It was similar to what I saw live last night. We definitely know we went against a real good team, but we were way too careless with the ball. Having those 4 turnovers on the block punt, especially all early in the game, got us in a hole that was tough to overcome. And then we came out in the third quarter, went 3 and out on 0. I think they went down and got a field goal, and I think we ended up turning it over again. So just too many mistakes versus a real good team.
In terms of the defense's failure to get takeaways, is that something you personally address to them? Who's talked to them about besides Sala? How's that message try to get across?
We always do. It's something I preach. We usually have one coach get up each week and talk about turnovers. Our DB coach Jeff Halfley usually does it. We had D'Amico do it last week. Bobby Turner did it 2 weeks ago in terms of protecting the ball. So we usually dedicate someone to that, about 15 minutes meeting every Thursday to emphasize it.
When Ruben came here in his first training camp practices, he was getting interceptions and fumbles all over the place. Is he just not in position now? Like, what's been missing?
It's not just Ruben. I think it's all of our guys. So we haven't got. I think in these last 3 games, I think it's 13-0. We have 18 turnovers on the year, but in these last 3 games, we've had 13 and gotten 0 back. So by no means it is one person. It's a little bit of everybody. And when you're playing zone defense, you got 7 guys looking at the quarterback. You want to put the quarterback under duress. That's where you get some tips and overthrows and things like that. That's where you get your picks. And man coverage, then usually it's jumping in front of guys and beating the guy to the spot. So we haven't had a lot of opportunities, and when we have, we've dropped them. So we got to pick that up if we want things to change.
On the block punt, what happened or what needed to happen better?
We needed to block better. He beat us up the middle. They didn't bring too many. It was a pretty good move by their player, 58, and he got there.
How did you think Colbert was coming along before?
I thought in that game he was having one of his better games. We had challenged Shanahan in the last few weeks. I thought in this game he had covered sideline to sideline very well, just running and hitting, and made a real good play, and the play got hurt on also. They tried to challenge us, go over the top, which you want the corner there on, but usually a middle third player will show up with the speed that Colbert has, and he did, made a good play, and unfortunately got hurt.
What's the frustration level like when you have a guy like that, you're trying to see him grow
and then, he loses those reps, those valuable opportunities to evaluate the position.
Yeah, it's tough. It's part of football, though. I mean, it's not the first time it's happened. Colbert's one of those guys last year that got his opportunity because a lot of guys went down, and he was one of the guys that the second half of the year we got to watch grow through some trial and error, but ended up playing at a very high level last year, and made us very excited about going into this year with them. And now Colbert going out is going to give more opportunities to DJ Reed or other players. So we hope some other guys step it up like he did last year.
Last year, at almost this time, it was, I guess, exactly a week from this date is when the Garoppolo trade came. That gave you guys a boost. Is this the time of the year that you guys are still looking for, anything that might be available with the trade deadline coming up?
Yeah, definitely. We're always looking for things to improve our team. I think the hardest thing and the thing we want to be the strongest with it, everyone would love a quick fix right now. I know I would. I know our players would. I know John and the personnel staff would. But it's not just about a quick fix. We're dedicated to trying to win this Sunday, but we're also not going to just do something that makes us feel better today that hurts us for the future. So we take everything into account. From our perspective about what we do on a day-to-day basis, it's about trying to find a way to beat Arizona. But when it comes to trades and things like that, that there's more business involved in that doesn't just affect this week. Things that affect the salary cap and things like that in the next year, and how we're trying to build this, and we're trying to stay committed to that.
Are you guys fielding calls from a lot of teams for any of your players?
I'm not in charge of those phones. But people talk all the time around the league. All people are doing that every single day right now. They'll be doing it up to the trade deadline. It picks up more as it gets closer, but that's stuff that goes on every day, all day. A lot of it's just talk, and sometimes it becomes real. So we'll always listen. We're always looking to try to improve our team. We're always calling and seeing if there's anything out there that we haven't heard either. Also, but like I said, our philosophy with that is, we're always trying to improve right now, but we're also not going to do that to risk anything for the future.
What did Akello do yesterday?
I thought Akello took a step in the right direction. Akello's similar to Colbert, with the guys last year who got their opportunities because of injury and really stepped it up as the year went. I didn't think he got off to the same start this year. He's been a lot more up and down, and I thought yesterday he took a step in the right direction. I thought he had one of his better games this year, and hopefully that'll continue to trend that way, so we can get back to the level of last year and more.
Why do you think so many of those guys have been up and down?
You got to ask them. You fight through some things. You come in as rookies. You're not really sure what to expect, and you get a little bit of feel as the year goes, and you have a little success as the year ends, and you come in, and those guys worked extremely hard in the offseason. They came in ready to take it to another level, and and they hadn't. They haven't done that so far, and that stuff's hard. The NFL is not easy. You're not just guaranteed because you had some success at the end of the year that you'll come in and just pick up right where you left off. They've had to really work through some of these games, some ups and downs. Losing some playing time. They've gotten better in practice, and I thought it carried over to the game this week. I know it won't for Colbert as we go, but hopefully Akello will continue to grow from it.
A few of those guys after the game mentioned the process and the long-term sort of outlook, and it seems like you and John have taken a very long-term approach to building this thing towards something sustainable. Where are you at in terms of how being 1-6 in this start sort of impacts the big picture?
Our record right now doesn't impact the big picture to me. It's tough to deal with. It's frustrating. We all are working extremely hard and want much better results. But just because the record doesn't show that isn't going to make you doubt yourself and go rip up your plans to do something totally new. We knew when we came here it was going to take some time, and we want that to be as fast as possible. There's no doubt about that. But that also you don't want to make stupid decisions because of that. We're trying to be smart in everything we do. We're not trying to just do this a quick, easy fix way. We're trying to build this thing to last, and to do that, it does take some time. Plan on it going faster, and it hasn't so far. But that doesn't make me lose any confidence in what we're doing, the people that we have here. I know we need to continue to work, continue to get better, but we're going through a tough time right now. But that doesn't change anything to me where I feel we're going.
Is the sophomore slump kind of a cliche thing, or is it something that kind of does happen with NFL players?
I've seen it a lot over my years. I think, it's I say percentage-wise, it happens to a lot of people. That doesn't mean everybody in their second year is like that, but I think it's you come in as a rookie, you don't really know what to expect. You're just wide-eyed and just trying your hardest to make a dream come true, and you don't even look back, and you grind every day trying to get there, and you don't even know why you got in or what happened. You're just sitting there trying to survive and not get cut, and then you start to gain some confidence. You know what, I can play in this league, and you come back the next year and you want to take it to the next level, and you do a little bit more, you work more, put a little bit more pressure on yourself, and try to do extra, and you end up forgetting kind of what got you there. I think that does happen with people when you say the sophomore slump, but it doesn't happen with everyone.
You said last night that CJ's your quarterback without question. How many reps does Nick get in practice outside of scout team in case he needs to come in for CJ, whether it's injury or whether CJ's not playing well?
In a period, he gets about 2 out of 10 plays, so that ends up being about 8 plays of practice. And then he gets 90% of them on scout team. He got 100% of them until we got Tom here, and now we've had Tom taking a few reps, so mainly in the passes.
And you have no plans to give him more reps at all this week or anything like that?
No, definitely not. It's if we had a minor league system or a bunch of guys out there, like I would love to give Nick reps. I'd love to give all of our backups reps and prepare them and challenge them. That's not how this league works. There's not enough reps for the starters. It's a different sport where you have a certain amount of people on your roster, and not everybody can go play offense and defense and give looks. A lot of guys aren't recovered till Friday to even practice. So in order to do something like that, that'd be neat and all, and it would help improve Nick, but it would hurt the rest of the team.
With Kittle, the numbers indicate he's made a big jump from year 1 to year 2. Have you seen that comprehensively from his game?
Yes, I mean his numbers are a lot better. He's a lot healthier. I think Kittle, similar to some of those other people we were talking about, but Kittle, it hasn't hit the sophomore slump. He's improved in that way, and the fact that he got a lot of playing time last year, he got thrown into a ton of situations, starting from the first game to the last game, battled through a bunch of injuries. I think we had a lot higher expectations for George going into last year than a lot of people realize, and I think he did too, knowing how training camp went and OTAs and stuff. And then he started out the year getting so banged up, he wasn't able to reach all that stuff. He ended strong, but I think George learned through the first year. He knew he could play in the league, but I think he learned how hard it was to stay healthy throughout a year. And I think he's taken better care of his body throughout this offseason, what he does day in and day out, how physical he plays throughout a game, what he does Monday through Saturday to get his body back to ready to play on Sunday. So it's been complete credit to him on just how well he's taken care of himself.
So would you say it's fair to say from that you're not surprised by what he's done? It's what the expectations you put on him starting in year 1?
Yeah, not at all. We were expecting him to do it last year, pretty early on, just because of how he looked when he got here. And I think he showed a lot of that towards the end of last year that, not a lot of people saw, but I think people could see flashes of it. But this year he came back and he's been healthy. I know he got banged up in training camp, but he recovered, did it right. And from the first game on, he's been getting after it.
Your first 7 games have largely been against all playoff contenders. Now, a 3-game stretch coming, the team's kind of in the same boat. Do you look at this as kind of at least gives you a chance to maybe find your footing and maybe regain some confidence right now?
I look at every game as that, to tell you the truth. After a loss, it's always tough on Monday. It's still a little bit tough on Tuesday. By the time Wednesday comes and you got a new game plan and the players are here, I look at every week as starting over and as a chance to regain that. I'm aware of that they don't have the same records of the teams we've been playing, but I also know if we don't take care of the ball better, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You can't go 3 games with 13 turnovers and 0 takeaways. It doesn't matter whether you're playing the best team in the NFL or the worst team in the NFL. We have to get that fixed regardless of who we play.
What were the plays that you looked at with the team?
What's that?
What was the play that you looked at with the team today?
Today we just talked. Yeah, I left it all for the coaches today. Sat and met with the guys for about 15 minutes, just talking about turnovers and things like that. But I let them break up and hit it with their position coaches.
Couple more. Those 2 interceptions he threw, Kyle, they were contested passes, I guess, but it looked like maybe the guys were open a split second beforehand. Should CJ have gotten rid of those passes a little bit earlier, or should the receivers have fought for position better?
Each one's different, but one of them in particular, you can't let it go when someone's in your face. He did a good job shuffling to the side. That was the one to Keys because Keys was very open, ran a good route. Then he was waiting in the hole for the ball because it didn't come on time. But it didn't come on time because someone was in his face. He had to avoid a sack and move. Then he let it go, and when that happens, you do got to step to it. So that's a little bit on both. And then you can include the O-line too because someone's in his face. So, we've had 18 turnovers this year, and I've watched every single one, definitely more than once. I recommend you guys do it too. You guys will see there's a lot of people involved in each one.
With what Aaron Donald did yesterday, or were there obvious gaffes in your mind, or were those situations where Donald just sort of did what he does?
Well, Aaron's as good of a player as there is in this league. He's done it for a while. He's done it to a lot of people. So he played very well, so I'm not going to take anything away from him. But when you play against a player like that, you got to be at your best. And, I don't think we were.
Eric? No, that's just about CJ's mentality. Going back to last week, you said at Green Bay, his last interception, mistake, you can't do that. And when we asked him, he was like, well, there was more to it. Or he suggested there was more to it than that. I mean, do you guys have, I guess, a healthy give and take or discussions about plays where he says, well, what about this? This is what I was thinking, and you're saying, well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's especially with a guy like CJ. I mean, CJ doesn't just show up and ask us what we saw and write it down and then just leave and repeat it. CJ works at this all day, every day. It's his job, and he treats it like his job. So, and just like we do. And so we work at everything together. There are a lot of things. It's not just a simple yes, no. I mean, we can sit and talk about a play and the things that go into it for a long time, which I would love to do. And if I could do it on every play, I would do it with you guys. But that isn't a very good advantage for us to do that. CJ, I know, talked about that right after the game, and there were a lot of things going into his head on the play. Myself also. And that's why you get together the next day, you go through the situation, you tell them all the things that can go from it, the different options on the play, and why you can't let that happen again.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks.